Sure, below is part 1 of the story, written in simple and basic English in third-person style and without headings. This segment is designed to be engaging while keeping the language straightforward. Let me know if you'd like further adjustments or formatting into a document. Clara Bennett stood quietly in the corner of the control room, her hands folded neatly in front of her. The soft hum of machinery filled the air, blending with the occasional beat from the ship's control panels. Around her, aliens moved with purpose, some towering over her, their bodies covered in shimmering armor, others gliding across the floor with grace that seemed almost unnatural. Clara was small, pale, and unremarkable compared to them. Her thin frame and quiet demeanor made her easy to overlook, but she didn't mind. She had learned long ago how to blend into the background. The ship itself was massive, built for deep space exploration and diplomacy. It carried representatives from dozens of alien species, all working together or at least pretending to for the sake of peace and discovery. Clara's role was simple. She was a technician, tasked with maintaining the ship's human-made systems. Most of the time, her job involved fixing things the aliens couldn't understand, like outdated wiring or malfunctioning sensors. It wasn't glamorous, but it kept her busy. Still, being the only human on board wasn't easy. The aliens often treated her like an afterthought. Some were polite enough, nodding to her when they passed by, but others weren't so kind. One of them, a reptilian diplomat named Vorik Tharn, never missed an opportunity to remind her how weak and fragile humans were. He would stand close to her during meetings, his scaled body towering over hers, and sneer as he spoke about Earth's primitive technology. Clara always listened quietly, her face calm, even when his words stung. Today, however, Vorik seemed especially eager to make his point. The crew had gathered in the control room to discuss the ship's next destination. A mysterious signal detected near a dying star. The signal was faint but unmistakable, pulsing rhythmically like a heartbeat. No one knew what it meant, but everyone wanted answers. Clara sat at her station, running diagnostics on the ship's communication array, while the aliens debated loudly around her. This signal could be a breakthrough, said Krell, a hulking insectoid engineer with 6 legs and glowing green eyes. His voice buzzed like static, making it hard for Clara to focus. It might lead us to ancient technology or even new allies. It could also be a trap. Vorik replied sharply, his tail flicking behind him. We shouldn't waste our time chasing ghosts. His gaze swept across the room until it landed on Clara, especially not with distractions aboard. Clara felt her cheeks flush, but she didn't look up. She knew exactly what he meant. To Vorik, she was nothing more than a distraction, a reminder of how far behind humanity lagged compared to the rest of the galaxy. She had heard it all before. Humans were too slow, too weak, too dependent on machines. Their bodies were frail, their minds limited. They didn't belong among the stars. But Clara didn't argue. Instead, she focused on her work, typing commands into the console in front of her. The screen lit up with streams of data, each line a puzzle waiting to be solved. That was one thing the aliens underestimated about her ability to think carefully and solve problems. While they argued and postured, she stayed calm and got things done. Vorik wasn't finished, though. He stepped closer to her station, his claws clicking against the metal floor. Tell me, little human, he said, leaning down so his face was inches from hers. Do you even understand what we're discussing? Or are you just here to push buttons? Clara finally looked up, meeting his cold, reptilian eyes. For a moment, there was silence. Then she smiled faintly. I understand more than you think, she said softly. Her voice was quiet, but it carried weight. And I'm here because someone has to keep your ship running. Without me, you'd all be floating in space. The room went still. Even Krell stopped buzzing, his antennae twitching as he watched the exchange. Vorik stared at her, his expression unreadable. Then, after a long pause, he straightened up and turned away. We'll see how useful you really are, he muttered under his breath. Clara didn't respond. She returned to her work, pretending not to notice the stares of the other aliens. Some of them looked curious, others amused. A few even seemed impressed. But Clara didn't care what they thought. She had learned long ago that proving herself wasn't about winning arguments. It was about doing her job better than anyone else. As the meeting continued, the crew decided to investigate the signal. The ship would change course immediately, heading toward the dying star. Clara didn't say much during the discussion, but she listened closely, taking mental notes. She knew this mission would be important not just for the aliens, but for her too. Somewhere out there, hidden among the stars, was something waiting to be discovered. And Clara had a feeling it might change everything. For now, though, she kept her thoughts to herself. She finished her diagnostic report and sent it to the captain's office, then headed back to her quarters. The corridors were dimly lit, the walls lined with glowing panels that pulsed gently as she walked. Clara liked these quiet moments, when she could be alone with her thoughts. She often wondered what it would be like to live among the stars forever, far from Earth and its endless wars and struggles. Maybe someday, she thought, she would find a place where she truly belonged. But for now, she had a job to do. And no matter how much Vorik or anyone else doubted her, she wouldn't let them down. Because deep down, Clara knew something they didn't. Strength wasn't always about size or power. Sometimes it came from places they couldn't even imagine. This completes Part 1 of the story, written in simple and basic English. Let me know if you'd like to proceed with the next part or need any changes. Sure, below is Part 2 of the story, written in simple and basic English in third-person style and without headings. This segment continues the narrative while keeping the language clear and engaging. Let me know if you'd like further adjustments or formatting into a document. The ship moved through space like a silent shadow, its engines humming softly as it approached the source of the mysterious signal. Clara sat at her station, staring at the screens in front of her, the data streaming in with strange patterns of light and sound that didn't match anything she had seen before. It wasn't just a random signal, it felt alive, almost like it was trying to communicate. Clara leaned closer to the screen, her fingers brushing against the controls as she adjusted the sensors. Around her, the aliens were restless. Krell buzzed impatiently, his glowing eyes scanning the readings. Vorik stood nearby, arms crossed, his tail flicking back and forth. Even though he rarely spoke to Clara directly anymore, his presence loomed over her like a storm cloud. She could feel his gaze on her, watching her every move, waiting for her to make a mistake. "The signal is unlike anything we've encountered," Krell said finally, breaking the silence. His voice buzzed with excitement. "It's not natural. Someone or something is sending it. Or it's a trap," Vorik muttered darkly. He glanced at Clara, his cold eyes narrowing. "We should be careful. Humans have a way of causing trouble without even realizing it." Clara ignored him. She focused on the task at hand, typing commands into the console. The ship's scanners revealed a massive structure ahead, a derelict alien station orbiting the dying star. It looked ancient, its surface covered in cracks and faded symbols that glowed faintly in the dim light. Something about it sent a shiver down Clara's spine, but she couldn't explain why. "We're close enough now," the captain announced, stepping into the control room. His voice was calm but firm. "Prepare a team to investigate. We need to know what this thing is and whether it's dangerous." Krell immediately volunteered, eager to explore the station. Vorik hesitated for a moment before joining as well, clearly unwilling to let anyone else take the lead. Clara watched silently from her station, knowing they would expect her to stay behind. But this time, she had no intention of letting them leave without her. "I'm coming to," she said suddenly, standing up. Her voice was quiet but steady, cutting through the chatter in the room. Vorik turned to her, his lips curling into a sneer. "What could you possibly contribute? You'll only slow us down." Clara met his gaze without flinching. "I may not be as strong as you," she replied, "but I know how to fix things and I might see things you'd miss. Besides, this signal came from human technology. If there's anything Earth-related inside, I'll recognize it." For a moment, no one spoke. The captain studied her carefully, then nodded. "She has a point," he said. "Take her along, but stay alert. We don't know what we're walking into." The team prepared quickly, gathering tools and weapons before boarding a shuttle bound for the station. As they flew closer, Clara stared out the window, her heart pounding. The station grew larger with each passing second, its jagged edges casting long shadows in the starlight. It looked like a relic from another time, forgotten by the universe, but still holding secrets within its walls. When they landed, the airlock hissed open, revealing a dark corridor beyond. The team stepped inside cautiously, their flashlights cutting through the gloom. Dust coated the floor, swirling gently as they moved. Strange symbols covered the walls, glowing faintly in response to their presence. Clara reached out instinctively, her fingers brushing against one of the markings. It felt warm, almost alive, sending a small jolt through her hand. "What are these?" Krell asked, buzzing nervously. "They look older than anything I've ever seen." "They're warnings," Vorik said grimly, pointing to one of the symbols. "This means do not enter. Whoever built this place didn't want visitors." Clara frowned, studying the symbols more closely. They reminded her of something buried deep in her memories. She couldn't quite place it, but she knew it was important. Maybe we should listen to them, she suggested quietly. If this place is dangerous, we didn't come all this way to turn back now. Vorik interrupted, brushing past her. Stay here if you're scared, little human. The rest of us will handle it. Clara clenched her fist but didn't argue. She followed the group deeper into the station, her footsteps echoing softly against the metal floor. The corridors twisted and turned, leading them to a large chamber at the center of the structure. Inside, they found a sealed door surrounded by intricate carvings. At first glance, it looked impossible to open, but Clara noticed something the others missed. There's a pattern here, she said, stepping forward. These symbols aren't random. They're instructions. Vorik snorted. Don't waste our time playing games. Just break it open. He gestured to Krell, who raised one of his powerful limbs and slammed it against the door. The impact shook the entire chamber, but the door didn't budge. Frustrated, Vorik tried next, using his claws to pry at the edges. Still, nothing happened. Clara rolled her eyes. Let me try, she said, pushing past them. She placed her hand gently on the door, tracing the symbols with her fingertips. As she did, the door began to glow, responding to her touch. A low hum filled the air, growing louder until the door slid open with a soft click. The others stared at her in disbelief. How did you do that? Krell asked, his antennae twitching. Clara shrugged. I just listened to it. It wanted me to understand. Vorik scowled, clearly irritated. Lucky guess, he muttered. Stepping through the doorway, the rest of the team followed, their lights illuminating the vast chamber beyond. In the center of the room, suspended above a pedestal, was a glowing sphere. It pulsed with energy, casting strange shadows across the walls. What is that? Krell whispered, his voice trembling with awe. It's beautiful, Clara murmured, taking a step closer. She felt drawn to it, as if it were calling to her. The others hung back, unsure of what to do. Vorik, however, wasn't afraid. He reached out, trying to grab the sphere with his claws, but before he could touch it, a bright flash of light erupted from the object, knocking him backward. He hit the ground hard, his tail lashing angrily. Don't touch it, Clara shouted, rushing to his side. It doesn't want you near it, and it wants you. Vorik snapped, glaring at her. Clara didn't answer. She turned back to the sphere, feeling its warmth radiating toward her. Slowly, she extended her hand, letting the light wash over her skin. For a moment, everything went still. Then the sphere began to speak, not in words, but in images and feelings, flooding her mind with visions of stars, planets, and ancient civilizations. The others watched in stunned silence as Clara stood frozen, tears streaming down her face. When the visions ended, she collapsed to her knees, gasping for breath. What did you see? Krell asked, hovering anxiously beside her. Clara took a deep breath, struggling to find the right words. It's a vault, she said finally. Vault of knowledge. These people, they left it here for someone to find. Someone who can carry their legacy. Vorik frowned, his expression unreadable. And why does it think you're the one? Clara shook her head. I don't know. But it chose me. That much is clear. The team exchanged uneasy glances. None of them understood what was happening. But one thing was certain. Clara was no longer just a fragile human technician. Whatever role she had played before, it was over now. From this moment on, she would carry something far greater than any of them could imagine. This completes part to of the story. Let me know if you'd like to proceed with the next part or need any changes. Sure, below is part 3 of the story, written in simple and basic English in third-person style and without headings. This segment continues the narrative while keeping the language clear and engaging. Let me know if you'd like further adjustments or formatting into a document. Clara sat on the cold floor of the chamber, her body trembling as the visions from the sphere faded away. The glowing object still hovered above the pedestal, its light dimmer now but still pulsing gently. She could feel its presence in her mind, like a quiet voice whispering secrets she couldn't fully understand yet. Around her, the alien team watched silently, their expressions a mix of awe and suspicion. Even Vorik, who usually sneered at everything she did, looked uneasy. What exactly did it show you? Krell asked finally, breaking the silence. His antennae twitched nervously as he glanced between Clara and the sphere. Clara hesitated, trying to put the images into words. It showed me stars, she began slowly, and planets, whole civilizations rising and falling. This station, it's not just a vault. It's a library, filled with knowledge from a long-dead race. Vorik snorted, his tail flicking irritably. Knowledge? What good is that? If they were so smart, why are they gone? They didn't disappear because they were weak, Clara replied sharply, surprising even herself. Her voice was soft but firm. They left this behind for someone to find. They wanted their legacy to survive, even if they couldn't. Krell buzzed thoughtfully, his glowing eyes fixed on the sphere. If what you say is true, this could be priceless. Imagine what we could learn from them, their technology, their history. It's not for us. Clara interrupted, shaking her head. She stood up slowly, brushing dust off her hands. The sphere made that clear. It doesn't trust everyone. It chose Mimi, specifically to carry its knowledge. Vorik stepped forward, his claws clicking against the metal floor. Chose you? Don't flatter yourself. Little human. You're nothing special. If anything, you're a liability. Clara turned to face him, her expression calm but resolute. Then why didn't it let you touch it? Why did it push you away? Vorik opened his mouth to argue, but stopped himself. He glared at her instead, his cold eyes burning with frustration. For once, he had no clever insult to throw at her. The truth was obvious. The sphere had rejected him and all the others, but accepted Clara without hesitation. Krell broke the tension by buzzing loudly. We need to tell the captain about this. Whatever this thing is, it's too important to keep hidden. No, Clara said firmly, surprising them again. Not yet. I need to understand more before we involve anyone else. If word gets out, people will try to take it from me or worse, destroy it. Vorik crossed his arms, his lip curling into a sneer. You think you can protect it? You're one fragile human surrounded by aliens who could crush you without thinking twice. I'm not afraid of you, Clara shot back, her voice steady despite the fear creeping into her chest. And I'm not going to let anyone hurt it, not even you. For a moment, no one spoke. The air in the chamber felt heavy, charged with unspoken threats and questions. Finally, Krell stepped between them, his large frame acting as a barrier. Enough, he said, his buzzing voice carrying a note of authority. We don't have time for this. We need to figure out how to proceed carefully. Clara nodded, grateful for Krell's intervention. She turned back to the sphere, studying it closely. Its surface shimmered like liquid light, shifting colors. As it pulsed, there was something mesmerizing about it, almost hypnotic. She reached out tentatively, letting her fingers hover just above its surface. The warmth radiating from it was comforting, like an old friend welcoming her home. As she touched it lightly, new images flooded her mind. She saw flashes of Earth, not the Earth she knew, but an Earth from thousands of years ago. People walked among strange machines, their bodies glowing faintly as they interacted with alien technology. Clara realized with a jolt that these humans weren't ordinary. They had been part of something bigger, something connected to the very same race that built the station. The vision ended abruptly, leaving Clara gasping for breath. She stumbled back, clutching her head as the memories settled into place. The others rushed to her side, their earlier hostility forgotten in the face of her distress. What happened? Krell asked, his voice tinged with concern. Clara took a deep breath, steadying herself. It showed me Earth, she said softly. Long ago, humans worked with this race. We helped them build things, amazing things. But something went wrong. Something caused them to leave. Vorik frowned, his tail swishing behind him. Why would they work with humans? You're primitives compared to them. Maybe we weren't. Always, Clara replied, her voice tinged with sadness. Maybe we forgot who we used to be. The room fell silent again, the weight of her words sinking in. Even Vorik seemed shaken, though he tried to hide it. Clara straightened up, her resolve strengthening. Whatever doubts she'd had before were gone now. She understood why the sphere had chosen her. It wasn't because she was strong or powerful, it was because she was human, a living link to the past. We need to leave, Krell said suddenly, glancing toward the entrance. This place isn't safe if the sphere reacts violently to anyone who tries to take it. Imagine what it might do if someone attacks. Clara nodded in agreement. We should go back to the ship and think about our next steps, but I'm taking the sphere with me. Vorik bared his teeth in a snarl. You can't just walk out of here with it. It belongs to all of us. It belongs to no one. Clara countered, her voice firm. But if anyone is going to carry it, it has to be me. You saw what happened when you tried to touch it. Krell stepped forward, placing a calming hand on Vorik's shoulder. She's right, he said. The sphere trusts her. Fighting over it will only make things worse. Vorik growled but didn't argue further. He stepped aside reluctantly, his tail lashing behind him as Clara approached the pedestal. She hesitated for a moment, then gently lifted the sphere from its resting place. It felt surprisingly light in her hands, almost weightless, but the energy coursing through it was undeniable. With the sphere cradled carefully against her chest, Clara led the way back to the shuttle. The journey felt longer than before, each step heavier as the reality of what she carried sank in. The others followed closely, their eyes darting nervously around the dark corridors. None of them spoke, but the tension was palpable. When they finally reached the shuttle, Clara climbed aboard last, holding the sphere tightly. As the engines roared to life and they lifted off, she stared out the window at the ancient station growing smaller in the distance. She knew this was only the beginning. The sphere had chosen her, but it hadn't revealed everything yet. There were still secrets buried within its glowing depths, secrets that might change the galaxy forever, and Clara was determined to uncover them, no matter what it took. This completes ****, Part 3 **** of the story. Let me know if you'd like to proceed with the next part or need any changes. Sure, below is **** part for **** of the story, written in **** simple and basic English ****, in third-person style ***, and without headings. This segment continues the narrative while keeping the language clear and engaging. Let me know if you'd like further adjustments or formatting into a document. The shuttle ride back to the ship felt longer than usual. Clara sat quietly in her seat, cradling the glowing sphere gently against her chest. Its light pulsed softly, matching the rhythm of her heartbeat. She could feel its warmth spreading through her body, as if it were alive and aware of her presence. The others sat around her, their eyes darting between the sphere and the controls. No one spoke, but the tension in the air was thick enough to cut with a knife. When they finally docked and stepped onto the ship, the crew gathered quickly. Drawn by whispers of what had happened on the station, Clara walked past them all, ignoring their stares and murmurs. She didn't stop until she reached her quarters, closing the door firmly behind her. For the first time since leaving the station, she allowed herself to breathe deeply, letting the weight of everything settle over her. She placed the sphere carefully on her desk, watching as its glow dimmed slightly. It seemed almost content, as if it trusted her completely. Clara sat down, staring at it for a long moment before reaching out to touch it again. As her fingers brushed its surface, new images flooded her mind, visions of Earth's distant past, when humans weren't just ordinary beings but something more. They had been part of a vast network of civilizations, working together to build wonders beyond imagination. But there was also pain in those memories. Wars, betrayals, and disasters that tore everything apart. The ancient race who built the station hadn't abandoned humanity. They had been forced to leave, taking their knowledge with them. And now, somehow, Clara was carrying the last remnants of that legacy. Her thoughts were interrupted by a knock at the door. She sighed, standing up to open it. Vorik stood outside, his arms crossed and his tail flicking impatiently. Behind him, Krell hovered nervously, his antennae twitching. "What do you want?" Clara asked, keeping her voice calm despite the frustration bubbling inside her. "The captain wants to see you," Vorik said sharply. "And he wants to see that thing." Clara glanced back at the sphere, then turned back to him. "It's not going anywhere. But I'm not handing it over to anyone, not yet." Vorik growled low in his throat, stepping closer. "You don't get to make decisions here, little human. You're outnumbered and outmatched. Try taking it from me." Clara replied evenly, her gaze steady. "See what happens." Krell stepped forward, placing himself between them. "Enough," he buzzed. "We came to escort you, not fight. Please, Clara, just come with us." Clara hesitated, then nodded. She picked up the sphere carefully and followed them to the captain's office. Inside, the captain, a tall insectoid leader named Rinner, waited patiently behind his desk, his glowing eyes fixed on Clara as she entered, lingering on the sphere in her hands. "Explain this," he said simply, gesturing for her to sit. Clara took a deep breath and began telling him everything: the visions, the station, the spheres, rejection of the others. She left nothing out, knowing she couldn't afford to hide anything now. When she finished, the room fell silent. Rinner studied her closely, his expression unreadable. "And you believe this object has chosen you specifically?" he asked finally. "Yes," Clara replied. "I don't know why, but trust me, it won't let anyone else near it." Rinner leaned back in his chair, tapping his claws thoughtfully against the desk. "This changes things," he said after a moment. "If what you say is true, we cannot treat this lightly. Such knowledge could shift the balance of power across the galaxy." Vorik stepped forward, his tail lashing angrily. "Then we should take it from her and study it ourselves. She's too weak to handle something like this." "No," Rinner said firmly, silencing him with a sharp glance. "The sphere rejected you, Vorik. It chose Clara for a reason. We must respect that for now. Clara felt a wave of relief wash over her. Though she kept her expression neutral, at least someone understood how dangerous it would be to force the sphere away from her. But she knew this wasn't the end of the argument. Vorik wouldn't give up so easily. As the meeting ended, Clara returned to her quarters, the sphere still glowing faintly in her hands. She set it down on her desk and sat back, exhaustion washing over her. Her mind raced with questions. Why had the sphere chosen her? What did it expect her to do with its knowledge? And most importantly, how could she protect it from those who might try to take it by force? Her thoughts were interrupted by a soft hum from the sphere. It pulsed brighter, drawing her attention. She reached out instinctively, letting her fingers rest on its surface. A wave of warmth spread through her body, soothing her fears. Images flashed in her mind once more. But this time they were different. She saw herself standing among stars, surrounded by beings of light. They spoke to her not in words, but in feelings, urging her to trust herself. You've always been stronger than you think, a voice whispered in her mind. Stronger than they realize. Clara blinked, pulling her hand away. The sphere dimmed again, its glow steady but calm. She sat there for a long moment, processing what she had seen. The message was clear. The sphere wasn't just giving her knowledge, it was giving her strength. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she wouldn't face them alone. The next few days passed in a blur. News of the sphere spread quickly among the crew, sparking debates and arguments. Some believed Clara should be celebrated as a hero. Others viewed her as a threat. Vorik continued to push for the sphere to be taken from her, rallying support from those who shared his distrust of humans. Tensions aboard the ship grew higher with each passing hour. One evening, Clara found herself summoned to another meeting. This time, it wasn't just the captain waiting for her, it was the entire council of alien diplomats. They sat in a circle, their eyes fixed on her as she entered the room. The atmosphere was heavy, charged with unspoken accusations and suspicions. We have decided, Renner began, his voice echoing through the chamber, that the sphere cannot remain solely in your possession. Its knowledge is too valuable and dangerous to entrust to one individual. Clara's heart sank, but she kept her composure. You can't take it from me, she said firmly. It won't let you. That remains to be seen. Vorik sneered, stepping forward. He held up a device in his closet containment unit designed to suppress energy sources. We'll see how strong your precious sphere really is. Before Clara could react, two guards moved to restrain her. Panic surged through her as she struggled against them, clutching the sphere tightly. Don't, she shouted. You don't understand what you're doing. But Vorik ignored her, activating the containment unit. A beam of light shot toward the sphere, surrounding it in a shimmering field. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, with a deafening crack, the field shattered, sending a shockwave rippling through the room. Everyone stumbled back, shielding their eyes as the sphere flared brightly. When the light faded, Clara stood untouched, still holding the sphere. Around her, the aliens stared in stunned silence. Vorik dropped the containment unit, his tail twitching nervously. It rejected. You, Clara said, her voice cold, just like the station did. Are you starting to see a pattern? Renner stepped forward, his glowing eyes narrowing. This proves nothing, he said, though his tone wavered slightly. The sphere may have chosen you for now, but that does not mean we will bow to you. Clara met his gaze steadily, her resolve strengthening. I'm not asking you to bow to me. I'm asking you to listen, to trust that I'm doing what's best for everyone. If you try to take this from me again, you'll only make things worse. The room fell silent once more. Finally, Renner nodded slowly. Very well, he said. For now, you may keep it, but know this, if you prove unworthy of its trust, we will act. Do you understand? Clara nodded, clutching the sphere tightly. I understand. As she left the chamber, she felt a strange mix of relief and determination. The aliens might doubt her, but the sphere didn't, and as long as it trusted her, she knew she could face whatever came next. This completes part for of the story. Let me know if you'd like to proceed with the next part or need any changes. Sure, below is part 5 of the story, written in simple and basic English an third-person style and without headings. This segment continues the narrative while keeping the language clear and engaging. Let me know if you'd like further adjustments or formatting into a document. Clara sat alone in her quarters, staring at the sphere resting on her desk. Its glow had dimmed since the confrontation with the council, but it still pulsed faintly, as if alive and aware of her presence. She could feel its energy humming through her body, a constant reminder of the responsibility she now carried. Wasn't just knowledge, it was power, and with that power came danger. The ship moved silently through space, its engines humming softly in the background. Clara tried to focus on the present, but her mind kept drifting to what might happen next. The aliens were watching her closely now, their suspicion growing with each passing day. Vorik hadn't stopped pushing for the sphere to be taken from her, and even Rinner seemed uneasy about leaving it in her care. She knew it was only a matter of time before someone made another move. Her thoughts were interrupted by a sudden jolt that shook the entire ship. Alarms blared loudly, red lights flashing across the walls. Clara grabbed the sphere instinctively and ran out into the corridor, her heart pounding. The crew rushed past her, shouting orders and checking systems. Something was wrong, terribly wrong. She made her way to the control room, where chaos reigned. The captain stood at the center, barking commands while Krell worked frantically at a console. Vorik paced nearby, his tail flicking angrily. Clara stepped forward, clutching the sphere tightly. "What's happening?" she asked, her voice calm despite the panic around her. "We're under attack," Rinner replied sharply, his glowing eyes darting toward her. "A group of scavengers. They must have followed us after we left the station." Clara frowned, stepping closer to one of the screens. Outside the ship, small, jagged vessels swarmed like insects, firing blasts of energy that rocked the hull. The scavengers were relentless, their weapons tearing through the ship's defenses. Clara watched as systems failed one by one, the crew struggling to keep up. "They're targeting the core," Krell buzzed anxiously, his antennae twitching. "If they hit it, we'll lose power completely," Vorik growled, turning to Clara. "This is your fault. If you hadn't brought that thing aboard, they wouldn't be attacking us." "It's not my fault," Clara snapped back, her voice rising for the first time. "They want the sphere, not me. They've been tracking it since we left the station." Rinner stepped between them, his tone sharp. "Enough. We don't have time for this. Clara, can the sphere help us?" Clara hesitated, then nodded. "I think so. But I need access to the main console." "Do it," Rinner ordered, stepping aside. Clara moved quickly, placing the sphere gently on the central console. As soon as it touched the surface, its glow intensified, spreading across the controls like liquid light. The ship's systems began to hum louder, responding to the sphere's energy. Clara closed her eyes, letting its warmth flow through her. She could feel it connecting to the ship, rewriting code and rerouting power faster than any of them could manage. "What is she doing?" Vorik demanded, his claws clicking against the floor. "She's interfacing with the ship," Krell explained, his buzzing voice filled with awe. "It's incredible." Outside, the scavengers continued their assault, their weapons battering the ship's weakened shields. Clara focused harder, her fingers moving instinctively over the controls. The sphere guided her, showing her paths and solutions she never would have thought of on her own. Slowly, the ship's system stabilized. Shields flared back to life, deflecting the enemy fire. But it wasn't enough. The scavengers were too many, their attacks too fierce. One blast struck the hull, sending sparks flying across the control room. Clara stumbled back, clutching the sphere tightly. She could feel its energy draining, its glow dimming slightly. The strain was too much for both her and the sphere. "We can't hold them off forever," Krell shouted, his voice tinged with panic. Clara gritted her teeth, determination burning in her chest. She couldn't give up, not now. Not when so much depended on her. She reached out again, pressing her hands against the sphere. Its warmth surged through her, filling her with strength she didn't know she had. Images flashed in her mind maps, coordinates, patterns of light and sound. The sphere was showing her something, guiding her toward a solution. "The core," she whispered, her voice barely audible over the chaos. "We need to channel the sphere's energy directly into the core." Rinner turned to her, his expression grim. "That's risky. If it fails, we'll lose everything. It's our only chance." Clara replied firmly, "Trust me." For a moment, no one spoke. Then Rinner nodded. "Do it." Clara moved to the core chamber, the sphere glowing brighter with each step. Behind her, the others followed, their weapons ready in case the scavengers breached the hull. When she reached the core, she placed the sphere carefully at its base. Its light spread outward, wrapping around the massive machine like a cocoon. Clara closed her eyes, focusing all her energy on the connection. The sphere responded instantly, its power flowing into the core. The ship shuddered violently as systems overloaded, then stabilized. Outside, the scavengers faltered, their weapons failing as the ship's defenses surged to new heights. A pulse of energy erupted from the hull, knocking the enemy vessels back. One by one, they retreated, fleeing into the darkness. When it was over, Clara collapsed to her knees, exhausted. The sphere's glow had dimmed significantly, its energy nearly spent. Around her, the crew stared in stunned silence, their expressions a mix of relief and disbelief. "You did it," Krell said finally, buzzing softly. "You saved us." Clara shook her head, her voice weak but steady. "Not me. The sphere did most of the work. I just helped." Vorik stepped forward, his usual sneer replaced by something close to respect. "You're stronger than you look. Little human. I'll give you that." Clara managed a faint smile, though her body ached with exhaustion. She didn't care about Vorik's words anymore. All that mattered was that they were safe for now. As the crew began repairing the damage, Clara returned to her quarters, carrying the sphere carefully. Its glow was faint now, almost fragile. She set it down on her desk and sat beside it, her mind racing. The attack had proven one thing. The sphere was more powerful and more dangerous than anyone had realized. And as long as she carried it, she would be a target. But Clara wasn't afraid. She had faced the scavengers, faced the aliens' doubts, and faced her own fears. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she knew she could handle them. The sphere had chosen her for a reason, and she intended to honor that trust. As she drifted off to sleep, the sphere pulsed softly, its light steady and warm. For the first time in days, Clara felt a sense of peace. She didn't know what the future held, but she was ready to face it one step at a time. This completes part 5 of the story. Let me know if you'd like to proceed with the next part or need any changes. Sure, below is part 6 of the story, written in simple and basic English in third-person style and without headings. This segment concludes the narrative while keeping the language clear and engaging. Let me know if you'd like further adjustments or formatting into a document. The days that followed the attack were quiet, almost too quiet. The ship drifted through space, its systems repaired, but its crew tense and uneasy. Clara spent most of her time in her quarters, watching over the sphere. Its glow had grown fainter since the battle, as if it were resting after expending so much energy. She worried about it, worried about what might happen if it faded completely. But for now, it still pulsed softly, a small reminder of the power it held and the responsibility she carried. The aliens treated her differently now. Gone were the sneers and insults from Vorik, replaced by cautious respect. Even Krell seemed to look at her with new eyes, his buzzing voice after when he spoke to her. The council no longer questioned her right to keep the sphere, though their trust was fragile, like glass ready to shatter at the slightest push. Clara didn't let their change in attitude fool her. She knew they were still watching her, waiting to see what she would do next. Some admired her courage, others feared her strength. And fear, she knew, could turn into anger just as quickly. One evening, the captain called her to a meeting. When she entered the chamber, she found the entire council gathered, their expressions serious. Rinner stood at the center, his glowing eyes fixed on her as she approached. "We've made a decision," he began, his voice calm but firm. "The sphere cannot remain aboard the ship. It's too dangerous for us, and for you." Clara's heart sank, but she kept her expression steady. "What are you saying?" "We're taking you to a neutral planet," Rinner explained. "A place where you can be protected while we decide what to do next. The knowledge you carry is too valuable to risk losing or worse, falling into the wrong hands." Clara shook her head, stepping forward. "You don't understand. The sphere chose me. If you take me away, you'll only make things worse. It's not your choice," Vorik snapped, stepping closer. His tail flicked angrily behind him. "You've caused enough trouble already." Before Clara could respond, Krell buzzed loudly, stepping between them. "Enough. We're all tired and scared, but fighting won't solve anything. Clara, tell us, what does the sphere want?" Clara hesitated, then turned back to the council. "It doesn't want to be hidden away. It wants to be shared, but carefully, with the right people. Not everyone is ready for its knowledge." Rinner studied her closely, his claws tapping thoughtfully against the floor. "And who decides who's ready?" "I do," Clara replied firmly. "For now." The room fell silent, the weight of her words sinking in. Finally, Rinner nodded slowly. "Very well. We'll honor your role for now. But know this, if you fail, if you prove unworthy of its trust, we will act. Do you understand?" Clara met his gaze steadily, her resolve unshaken. "I understand." As the meeting ended, Clara returned to her quarters, her mind racing. She knew the aliens wouldn't wait forever. Sooner or later, they would try to take the sphere from her again. She needed to prepare for their doubts, for their fears, and for whatever challenges lay ahead. That night, as she sat beside the sphere, its light pulsed brighter than it had in days. Clara reached out instinctively, letting her fingers rest On its surface, a wave of warmth spread through her body, soothing her fears. Images flashed in her mind: stars, planets, civilizations rising and falling. But this time, there was something new. She saw herself standing among the stars, surrounded by beings of light. They spoke to her not in words, but in feelings, urging her to trust herself. "You've always been stronger than you think," a voice whispered in her mind. "Stronger than they realize." Clara blinked, pulling her hand away. The sphere dimmed again, its glow steady but calm. She sat there for a long moment, processing what she had seen. The message was clear. The sphere wasn't just giving her knowledge, it was giving her strength. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she wouldn't face them alone. The next morning, the ship arrived at a neutral planet, a small, rocky world orbiting a distant star. The council had chosen it as a temporary refuge, a place where Clara could stay while they debated her fate. As she stepped off the ship, the sphere cradled carefully in her arms, she felt a strange mix of relief and unease. The air was cold, the ground covered in gray dust. Around her, the aliens set up a perimeter, their weapons ready in case of danger. But Clara wasn't afraid. She walked to the center of the clearing, placing the sphere gently on the ground. Its glow brightened, spreading outward like ripples in water. Above them, the sky shimmered, filling with streaks of light. The sphere was calling out to someone, or something. "What's happening?" Vorik demanded, his tail flicking nervously. "I don't know," Clara admitted, her voice soft. "But I think we're about to find out." The ground trembled slightly, and a beam of light shot down from the sky, surrounding the sphere. Clara shielded her eyes, staring in awe as the light grew brighter. When it faded, a figure stood before them, a being of pure energy, its form shifting and glowing like the stars themselves. "Who are you?" Rinner asked, his voice trembling. I am a guardian," the figure replied, its voice echoing like a chorus. "This sphere carries the legacy of my people. It has chosen a new carrier, one worthy of its trust." All eyes turned to Clara, who stood frozen, clutching the sphere tightly. The guardian studied her for a long moment, then nodded. "She is strong. Stronger than any of you realize," Vorik growled, stepping forward. "How can you trust her? She's just a human. She is more than you see," the guardian replied calmly. "Her strength lies not in her body, but in her heart. She carries not just knowledge, but hope." Clara felt tears streaming down her face, though she didn't know why. The guardian's words filled her with a sense of purpose she hadn't felt before. She wasn't just protecting the sphere, she was protecting the future. "Take care of it," the guardian said finally, its form beginning to fade. "And remember, strength comes in many forms." When the light vanished, the sphere pulsed softly, its glow steady once more. Clara looked around at the aliens, their expressions a mix of awe and respect. Even Vorik seemed shaken, his usual arrogance replaced by something close to humility. From that day on, Clara was no longer just a technician or a fragile human. She was the carrier of an ancient legacy, a living archive of knowledge and hope. The aliens treated her with reverence, their earlier doubts erased by what they had witnessed. And though she knew challenges still lay ahead, she faced them with courage. The sphere had chosen her for a reason, and she intended to honor that trust for herself, for humanity, and for the galaxy. This completes *** Part 6 *** of the story. Let me know if you'd like any changes or additional edits.